What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking designer fragrances today, and I've collected 15 fragrances for this video that I truly believe if you haven't tried at least a few of these, this is like core, columns to the building, cement slab foundational type of stuff for your fragrance collection. Look, I get it. There's beautiful niche out there. There's affordable stuff. There's high-end expensive stuff. There's some great Middle Eastern fragrances. But there's some designers that are just must try, that get the job done. They're great every day. They're super attractive to people, and they're highly versatile. So in this video, we're talking about 15 that I believe you just have to try. And if you haven't yet, I would encourage it. So stay tuned. Starting with what I believe to be the best in the Born in Roma line, this is Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. So this has a beautiful spiced apple accord, a little bit of earthiness from some tobacco, and even though I don't remember them listing it, I do get an ambroxan smell, which adds to the freshness, a little bit of shower gel, kind of a little bit of that accord to it. But really, that spicy apple is really what just makes this a captivating aroma. It's on the masculine side. It's not a feminine sweet fragrance, but at the same time, it's got that modern feel to it. And the beauty of this is it's highly attractive. If you're the type that wants someone to tell you smell good, the probability with a fragrance like this goes up exponentially. Performance is great on this one. It's not always the easiest to find, but it's best to find it from a discounter. There's no reason to pay retail if you don't have to. I'll have it linked down below if you want to check out any of these fragrances. But to me, this is a great spot to start with Coral Fantasy. Chemically synthetic smelling? Sure. But undeniably fresh, a little fruity sweet from this plum. It just adds this juiciness to an overall woody, spiced, musky, fresh fragrance. We're talking about Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy Cobalt. This is one of my favorite pickups of the last year or so. This stuff is super, super good. I have to spray this one while I'm talking about it. So if you've ever smelled fragrances like Invictus Platinum or the original Coach for Men, that gray to black gradient bottle, it's kind of a combination of the two, where you get kind of that fruitiness of Invictus Platinum with a lot of that fresh, musky, kind of ambroxan-esque type smell, and musk mainly, from Coach for Men. It's like a combination of the two, but better than both, in my personal opinion. Above average performance is my experience. If it seems weak for you, it's definitely some nose fatigue. This is a lot of, I guess lower end synthetics, even though it makes a beautiful aroma out in the air. I'm not going to sit here and say it smells expensive, but it does smell super attractive, and it's highly versatile. So definitely worth checking out is Bad Boy Cobalt. In my opinion, the best designer released in 2024. I think a lot of people would agree with me. This is Hugo Boss Bottled Absolu. So what you're getting here is elevated performance, elevated scent quality that you would not expect from a Boss bottled flanker. This is mid-level designer stuff that smells like it belongs in at least the Parfums de Marly bottle. And even then, kind of smells like Carlisle. You get sweetness, you get this leathery facet. It even comes across a little boozy. It dries down creamy and sweet. It's nice and spiced and warm. This is a rich, beautiful, higher quality than you would think fragrance with just phenomenal performance. It's already at discounters. I paid like $65 for this 50 ml in the link down below, and I think the 100 milliliter bottles when they had them in stock were around 90-ish. So another one, don't pay retail, but if you're in a cooler climate, or you're looking for a great cooler weather / date night evening, seductive, over-the-top masculine fragrance, because yes, I said sweet, but this is for you fellas that are like 25 plus. Even though it has that attractiveness that I think some younger fellas can appreciate, some younger ladies might really enjoy smelling on you guys, I really think this is more for maybe less of the club scene and more for, the nightcap, the dinner date, the hitting the bar or the pub, not really hitting the club kind of thing. I mean, do as you please with it, but the bottom line is you really should try this fragrance because, like I said before, in my opinion, best designer released in 2024 is Boss Bottled Absolu. Now, this can be found very affordably, around 35 to 40 bucks for a 100 milliliter bottle. This is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, and just for me, try this one. Salvatore Ferragamo's Acqua Essenziale Blue. This is one of the best blue fragrances ever created. It does have that sweet powdered tonka bean meets aquatic type of feel. The lavender here doesn't make it over the top soapy, but it does provide a bright aromatic nature to it. There's a little bit of, I believe the woody note is cedar wood, with some cypriol oil that kind of grounds it, gives it more of a slightly earthy, woody base mixed with ambroxan and tonka bean that give it that modern, fresh, sweet tone. This is beautiful. A nice touch of citrus in the top. It's fresh, spicy. It's super highly versatile, and it's an above average performer. I've always gotten at least 8 hours of longevity with 2 hours of really strong projection out of this one. And it's affordable. It performs. It smells great. It kind of stands tall among most blue fragrances. It is Ferragamo's Acqua Essenziale Blue. Now, I haven't tried every Fahrenheit, but of the ones I've tried, clear-cut best one is Fahrenheit Le Parfum from Dior. This is rich, boozy, has a bit of a licorice smell to it. Still has a little bit of that petroleum, gasoline, violet leaf smell of the original. It's just toned back a bit. You don't get loads of leather here, but it's unquestioned. This is a strong representation of the Fahrenheit DNA, just refined, reformed, if you will. This is that much more dressy. I wouldn't want to wear this every day, but evenings out, special events, dinner dates, abso-freaking-lutely. When it comes to those settings, it's almost a perfect designer. And of course, it's got phenomenal performance across the board, from longevity, sillage, which is your scent bubble and trail, and then projection with it pumping off the skin early. It's like much better than most in all of those categories. Again, that's Fahrenheit Le Parfum from Dior. Now, with the famed Acqua di Gio Profumo being discontinued for a while at this point, a close representation of that profile. It's a little bit less on the incense, a little bit more on the green rosemary type of spiciness. I think you should check out Acqua di Gio Parfum. This is a gorgeous fragrance, high compliment factor. It just smells like a fresher version of the famed Profumo. I've even heard the 2024 bottles are actually closer to Profumo. This is the 2023 original release when they came out with the Parfum. Great performer, super attractive, classic aquatic of Acqua di Gio's DNA, just a bit more refined, a bit more matured, if you will. Not an old man smell by any means, just really freaking good stuff. You can't go wrong with any version of Acqua di Gio, in my opinion. This is a famed line, a top seller for many, many reasons, and most notably because they just smell freaking good. Women like to smell this on guys, so if for no other reason, just try it. Go get a tester, spray it on you, get around your lady, and guess what's going to end up happening? She's going to insist that you get a bottle. It's Acqua di Gio Parfum from Giorgio Armani. In my opinion, the king of the blue fragrance genre. I think it's the perfect blue fragrance, and I think the only thing that could be better than this is if they made an Elixir flanker, which they refuse to do for some reason. Chanel, I need Bleu de Chanel Elixir, but until then, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. To me, the perfect blue. Warm, rich woods, has that synthetic feel to it a little bit, but it's smoother and refined because of the oil concentration. You got cashmere wood and Isoe Super, those modern synthetics that have that soft, sensual, woody tone to it. You have some sandalwood that doesn't really make it all that creamy, with a nice zing from some lemon zest at the top, a little bit of that incensey feel from the previous versions of this fragrance. This is smooth. This is refined. This is the blue fragrance that pairs well with a suit and tie. You business professionals, this is like a necessary added piece to your wardrobe. This is a secret weapon type of thing. People will take you a bit more serious while still having that likability and crowd-pleasing aspect of Bleu de Chanel and blue fragrances in general. Great longevity, great sillage. It will linger in the air because it's a pretty dense aroma, but it's not going to scream off the skin. It's a less is more type of fragrance, and contrary to what most people are going to tell you, not everything needs to be a ridiculous scream off your skin fragrance. Sometimes, actually more times than you would think, less is more. And that's where Bleu de Chanel Parfum shines. Now let's talk vanilla. Let's talk sweet designers. We're going to have a few of those here because that is a lot of the modern designers. And this one is one of the better ones because it's grounded by some nice earthy patchouli. We're talking about Invictus Victory Elixir. You can't tell because of the way the lighting is, but there's a very deep, rich blue gradients that goes to a super darker blue that's almost black, if you will. This has almost nothing to do with the original scent profile. I think I'm reaching trying to tie it to Invictus, honestly. I don't get that sweet bubblegum aquatic of the original DNA. But what I do get is a beautiful smoky vanilla hint of spices with a beautiful earthy green patchouli. It's not the chocolatey patchouli type. It's not the super creamy patchouli type. It provides that green earthy feel. Adds a little bit of dirtiness to it, if you will, with a nice smoky vanilla, warm and ambery. This stuff is amazing and it's a great performer. High compliment factor stuff. Phenomenal choice anytime in the cooler weather. And it's Paco Rabanne's Invictus Victory Elixir. Speaking of blue fragrance parfums, let's say you want a little bit more mass appeal. You want a little bit less business professional suit and tie. Well, what I think is up there with the Bleu de Chanel parfum, not superior to, but up there with, in my opinion, of course, Sauvage Parfum. Specifically, the Parfum. This is a big 200 milliliter bottle. So this takes away some of that playfulness of that shower gel fragrance that is Sauvage. So let's add some smoky resinous olibanum, strong frankincense note, a little bit of citrus. It doesn't list ambroxan, but it's clearly still there, just it's toned back. You still get the spice. It's a warmer fragrance. It's a smoother fragrance. It's a more matured vibe. This is more grown man Sauvage than young man Sauvage, if that makes sense. Not to the level of a Sauvage Elixir that's over the top spicy, and I've seen a lot of feedback of people saying old man smell with that because it's a classic like Dracar Noir-esque spicy over the top barbershop fragrance. I think Sauvage Elixir is phenomenal personally, but I don't think it's better than this. Again, it's a personal taste thing. I think this is the happy medium of finding that level of maturity with that level of playfulness of what Sauvage offers, because that's each end of the spectrum with the Elixir and the Eau de Toilette. You have the EDP that falls in there, but it's closer to the Eau de Toilette, whereas I think this is a beautiful happy medium of professionalism and playfulness with Sauvage Parfum. And don't let people lie to you, because they refuse to believe me when I say it's olfactive fatigue. Everybody refuses to just accept that. This is not a weak performer. These forums, these websites, there's people that will refuse to acknowledge that their nose goes sensitive to it. Their receptors wear out to it. This is not a weak fragrance. This is crazy long lasting and is quite strong. I go nose blind to it too. And then hours later it comes to life like I just sprayed it. I'm telling you, phenomenal fragrance that you should definitely try. Dior Sauvage Parfum. Now, speaking of sweet, a lot of people's favorite L'homme. Because it does tie to the original's DNA, adds some honey and some tobacco and just takes it to another level. Jean-Paul Gaultier's L'homme Elixir. What a great release from them in the last couple of years. You have that giant ring for the collar instead of the smaller one that they used to have. This is I'm tempted to spray it since I pulled the ring off. We're not going to. I already sprayed one fragrance. I'm already wearing another. No reason to keep spraying fragrances. But that's how enjoyable it is that I'm so tempted. So again, you have the green aromatic element. You got green notes. I believe it's mint with lavender and the vanilla / tonka bean. That's like the core of L'homme's DNA. That's present. It is here, but you also get an earthiness from this tobacco note that they used and a rich honeyed sweetness. This is so beautifully thick, crazy strong, high compliment factor, but you gotta like the sweet stuff. This is definitely on the sweeter side of things. Don't get me wrong, it's warm. It's got some powderiness to it. It's got some earthiness from this tobacco they use. Like I said, there's nuance, but at its core, it's a sweet fragrance, and it's a damn good one at that. It's totally worth trying. It's L'homme Elixir. Now let's switch it up from all that sweetness. Let's talk about resins. Let's talk about fiery hot spice. Let's talk about what I think is the best spice bomb on the market. Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum from Viktor and Rolf. Because this was so good, dark leather that they released this year fell flat. Most people are very disappointed in it. And look, I don't think it's a bad fragrance. But when you follow this up with dark leather, of course it's going to be a disappointment. It's a pretty linear smoked leather. This is this is based around leather. I just don't know why they chose to do that, because this is just far superior. There's nuance to this. It's smoky, it's warm, it's spicy. It's a little bit animalic. Like there's an edge to this leather accord that they created. It's matured. It's not as youthful as the other spice bombs, especially not anything like the vanilla bomb of Spice Bomb Extreme. Spice Bomb Extreme is great, but to me, This is above and beyond. This is next level for Spicebomb. I don't know if they'll ever be able to top it with the allure of what this one provides. Another great performer as well. But for you big boys, the young men, yeah, go Spicebomb Elixir. You big boys, this is the one. This is the one. This is that next level. For you gentlemen that have been married for 10 years plus, your lady is going to like something like this more than Spicebomb Extreme. I can't guarantee it, but I can definitely throw my opinion out there, and based on the feedback I've gotten, this is the one, gentlemen. Definitely get your nose on it. Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. I think the best and truest flanker they've made to YSL L'homme in years, and it just doesn't get enough love. This is L'homme Eau de Parfum. I recently picked this one up. I'm finally getting into the weather to wear it. If you ever liked the original, which I think is a modern men's classic, that's an all-time great YSL L'homme. This adds a bit of a booziness to it, warms it up, makes it a lot more woodsy, but still has that core DNA. It still smells like a richer, stronger, warmer YSL L'homme. That's the right way to do it here. They didn't change a whole lot. They added supportive nuance that really blends well with what the original was about, that gingered, aromatic, spiced, woody freshness. All of that is here, and those notes are elevated. They're enhanced. They're supported properly. The performance is dialed up. It's a thicker smell without being super heavy. They did a great job here. You owe it to yourself. Get out to Sephora. Get out to Macy's, Dillard's, Ulta, somewhere. A lot of places carry this, and get it on your skin and try it. Then come click the link down below and buy it at a discount. You're better off doing that. Again, like I said earlier, no need to pay retail if you don't have to. But this is definitely one that I strongly encourage you check out, that maybe not a lot of people recommend as a must-try designer, but to me, it certainly is. It's Yves Saint Laurent's L'homme Eau de Parfum. Next, we've got my personal favorite of the 1 million line. I think you can actually rock this one in the summer because it's got that beachy sunscreen kind of thing going from the solar notes and the tuberose. We're talking about Paco Rabanne's 1 million Parfum. Great performer, has that bubblegum sweetness, hint of spice. It still smells like 1 million, but it is a little beachy. Like I said, it has a little bit of that cocoa butter sunscreen kind of thing going from the thick tuberose and solar notes that are in here. It absolutely works. I have literally worn it to the beach, to Dog Beach here in PCB. I live at the beach. I have firsthand tested wearing this to the beach. Works. Not too heavy, not cloying. Just goes with the vibe, goes with the atmosphere. This is fantastic for it. But it's not just for that. It's just surprisingly well for that, because most people wouldn't think wear this to the beach on a beach day, right? And be like, oh, you're going to get in the water. Why would you even wear a fragrance? Because I wear a fragrance for pretty much everything. It's my thing. Now, for the rest of the situations, it has incredible performance, super likable. This is my wife's favorite 1 million. This is my favorite 1 million. It's just a joyous wearing experience. There's tons of great fragrances in this line. They don't really have misses. Pretty much all hits for the most part. Just comes down to your taste. But the whole line, pretty damn good. And to me, this one stands tall because it stays true to the original, adds some nuance that really fits the atmosphere of where I live. You might want to give it a try. It's Paco Rabanne's 1 million Parfum. Let's go one more round with Yves Saint Laurent. We had to talk about the Y line. Personal favorite. I love blue fragrances. We've got several blue fragrances in this video. A lot of stuff, you're either looking at blue or sweet most of the time with these designer brands. And for me, they've had several that have come out since, but Y Le Parfum, still the best Y, at least in my opinion. So it still has the aldehydes, that fizzy brightness of the original EDT, which is highly underrated at this point. You still have that grapefruit. You don't have loads of apple sweetness from the EDP, but it's kind of in between the EDT and EDP4 sweet with all the aldehydes of the EDT. So it's just as bright, but it's a smoother, richer fragrance because it's an increased oil concentration from the EDT. You still get the fresh spiciness. You get that ginger smell, creamy and musky in its dry down. It's just a stunning fragrance. This is a phenomenal everyday wear, regardless of season or situation. It's fresh enough for the heat, and it's strong enough, dense enough for the cold. Literally can be a true signature scent for you. I strongly encourage checking it out. Don't get me wrong, there's others that are worth trying in this line, most of them. But to me, if you're just going to check out one, check out the best. Y Le Parfum. And last but not least, the iris fragrance that kind of started it all for me, because my personal favorite note in fragrance is iris. And this is a very safe play. If you like this, yeah, dip your toe further, because it's a very soapy, powdery iris, because it plays well with the lavender. Nobody does soapy like Prada. Prada L'homme, the famed hype monster. Some call it the king of the office. I think Versace Pour Homme is more of a safer fragrance than this for an office setting. I think this is underrated for the performance. It's actually very strong and long lasting. This one you can spray too much. But boy, is it beautiful. Modern man type of stuff. It's definitely a feminine leaning fragrance because it's based around florals. It's powdery. Has that waxy lipstick type of smell to it with some soap, with some spice like cardamom, black pepper. It's a beautiful fragrance. 8 hours, easy. Projection, strong. 2 hours. Easy. You don't need more than 5, 6, 7 sprays is a lot, actually. I typically do 5 to 7 sprays, and 7 sprays is on the heavier end for me. Just know you're going to be, and I can almost guarantee this, the best smelling SOB around in the room you're standing in or the building you walked in with a fragrance like this. Because you're not going to run across, I mean, people will tell you, oh, it's popular, a lot of people wear it. I can almost guarantee you've never smelled this on somebody. Like Dior Sauvage, for example, Bleu de Chanel. People will tell you they're wildly redundant, but case by case basis, there's places I've lived when I was in San Antonio when almost everybody I worked with was wearing a version of Sauvage. Now I never smell Sauvage now that I'm in Florida. Never. So keep that in mind. Know your own situation. Don't just go with what the internet tells you all the time. Don't just go with what I tell you all the time. Trial and error. You got to try things for yourself. And this is absolutely, in my opinion, a must try. Even if you've never tried anything iris before, I think this is one of the safer bets to start with. This is the one I started with, and it created a love for iris fragrances. Hell, the 2 fragrances I created with Zaharoff over the last 3 or 4 years, both based around iris. Business over pleasure, evening mystique. Office iris, evening iris. I love iris. So definitely worth trying. Prada L'homme. That's the 15. Is that the only 15 designers you should give a shot? No, but that's the ones I gathered that I felt deserve the spotlight. This is some good shit in this video, guys. Just is. Beginners, guys that have been collecting for years, whatever. Just because you've been collecting for 20 years doesn't mean you've tried all of these. Maybe, hopefully, your palate hasn't snobbed out to where you're niche only at these days and can still appreciate some good mass appealing designers. Because in this video, we got some damn good mass appealing designers, if I do say so myself. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe before you leave. I'll catch you on the next one. You have a good one.